3:30 here on BBC Radio Cornwall with me, Tiffany Truscott. Now, a semi-retired male nurse who lives in Cornwall has decided to put pen to paper once again to write further tales from a male nurse. Patrick K.S. Poon is here to tell us more. Afternoon to you.
Thank you.
Now, your first book was called Tales from a Male Nurse.
That's correct.
And you wrote it, I think, didn't you, just kind of for something to do, to keep you busy?
That's why. All the story's been built up on my mind for so long. And at the time, I think what I said last year was that my daughter was ill and my wife had to go back up to the Midlands for quite a few weeks. And so I was on my own in St. Dominic in Cornwall, and I thought perhaps I ought to start writing. And that's how I started, really.
And most of this is from your memory, isn't it? With a little help, you did keep diaries at the time when you were working.
That's right. Yes, I've been writing diary for 40, 50 years. And the amazing thing was, when I was writing it, I never had to consult my diaries, and everything seemed to just coming out from my mind.
That's incredible, because I don't remember what I did at the weekend nearly, let alone sort of 10 years ago. And from your perspective as well, was it quite interesting to look back on all of those times that you had in your career?
Yes, it was interesting. Some were quite sad, and some of the things that happened in my life I will never forget. And some dramatic times, and with the patients and the colleagues that I work with.
And one of the things with your first book that you found, obviously it's not very easy to get a publisher, is it? So you self-published online, and you did get a really good response, actually, didn't you, from that first book, which has probably prompted you to write this second one.
That's right. Before I moved down here 6 years ago full-time, I used to come down here part-time for the previous 2 years, and I worked up in Burton-on-Trent, and hence a lot of people that knew me. And luckily, when I self-published it, and Waterstone Bookshop there locally was kind enough to promote it, and suddenly I was in number 12, number 8 for a month.
That's incredible.
Which shocked me.
Did you keep going into the bookshop just to look?
I did. I took some photographs just to...
And I think someone said that your sort of memoirs should be turned into a TV show or something, didn't they? There was a mention that they were so good.
Yeah, well, since my interview last in Cornwall, the Burton Mayor of Burton-on-Trent published an article about me, and somehow it was read by a producer in BBC Radio Derby. Subsequently, I was interviewed there, and the producer read my book, and she made this comment. And I would like to use the opportunity, because I don't know anybody in TV networking. Suddenly now I got more than 60 tales to tell. So if there's any TV script writers in Cornwall who would like some more inspiration, please read my books.
You could be the James Herriot of the medical world, couldn't you?
Oh, that would be nice.
So when did you decide that you wanted to write more?
Perhaps end of last year or so. I have many ex-colleagues in the hospital, in Burton Hospital where I worked, including my retired part-time secretary, and 98% of the people seem to have enjoyed it, and with the encouragement of my friends and so on, and I thought, do I have enough material to write another one? I have to confess, the first 8 or 10 came quite easily, and then I struggled a bit, and then I went through a peaceful period for a couple of weeks, and suddenly all the other tales came back to my mind, and in fact I have written quite a few, and I got rid of 4 or 5 weaker tales, not in this book. So I was surprised at myself.
Goodness me, you do work quickly, don't you?
Oh, yes.
And, of course, considering the delicate nature, you have to be careful, don't you, with confidentiality, so you probably have to change things slightly, don't you, with your situation?
That's correct, yeah. Luckily, this book was proofread by a friend of mine, and the last book was proofread by another friend of mine who happened to be a lawyer. And
couldn't get someone better, could you?
So he was very helpful.
And has it made you think, as you've been reading through it, that how much nursing has changed over the years?
It indeed has, yes. Nursing has changed completely. I left the hospital about 16 years ago now, and everything's changed, especially with the computerization of everything. And sadly, I'm not sure it's all for the better.
And does it make you quite kind of, is it is it quite nice for you to read back on these memories now that you've recorded once again with your More Tales?
Yes, I've enjoyed reading it. And in fact, I got my 2 books still by my bedside. Sometimes I read it, and I've forgotten actually I wrote it. And it's given me a bit of a buzz, really. It's given me a huge satisfaction in these 2 books I've written.
And this second book, I've got a copy in my hand. You've self-published it, haven't you?
Yes.
But it's all been published in Cornwall.
That's right.
Printed.
That's printed. Yeah, it's printed by the MPG based in Pastel. Yeah, my elder son's girlfriend works there, and which was very handy and helpful. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey too. The process of having to write it and then to format it, ask somebody else to format it into a printable form. And I've learned a lot on the way. And last year with the first book, the journey has been surreal, really.
Now, are there even more tales from a male nurse, or do you think this is your limit now?
This is maybe my limit. I think the next one may be a fiction of some love story in a nursing home, maybe.
So you really have got the bug for writing now, then?
I have enjoyed it, and yes, also a couple of friends have started writing themselves, and one of them was very keen to have his published. And he said to me the same too, "Oh, Patrick, you must get everything from your mind onto the paper." So he's been encouraging me more. But you won't be more tales for my career.
But I think one of the reasons that you were quite happy to write it is so that your family in years to come can read all about what life was like as well.
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, the last book was dedicated to my granddaughter. This one is to my parents. And there are 2 tales in this book. It's quite personal, but it's something to do with nursing, about my parents. When I researched it, and I'm from Hong Kong, by the way, and I realized how little I know about my parents. I researched it through my brothers and sisters, and I learned a lot about my parents. Unfortunately, they both passed away. And there are so many things I didn't know about them.
And do you think that they would be very proud, though, to think of the work that you've done?
I like to think so. I think my brother and sister are quite impressed that I've written it. And, they enjoy me writing it too.
And of course, I suppose just to mention as well that the time you're writing about, when you were a male nurse, kind of the late 70s, early 80s, how many male nurses were there at that time? Were you someone that was you were kind of one of a minority, do you think?
That's right. As I said in the first book, 10% of the nursing in the 70s, 10% male nurses, but 90% of the 10% of male nurses, they were all in psychiatric nursing. Because I'm quite a rare breed in general nursing and survived it for 30, 40 years. So general nursing is quite rare, really, for a male nurse to stay in and to work there.
So you're quite unique.
I like to think so.
And there we are. That's another good reason for people to read your tales as well.
Yes, thank you.
And if people would like to know more about the books and where to get hold of them, what should they do?
Yes, it's on sale as an e-book on the Amazon.com. And on my website, www.pkspoon.co.uk, and Waterstone bookshops.
In Truro?
I got it on sale in Plymouth and Burton-on-Trent.
Goodness me. So you're going far and wide with it. And I think St Dominic Post Office is selling it as well, aren't they?
That's right.
I suppose, and if you're in there at the same time, you might sign a copy if someone's buying it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's been lovely to meet you this afternoon. Now, we wish you well with this. So it's called Further Tales from a Male Nurse, and you're Patrick K.S. Poon, and we look forward to hearing about your next project as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as Patrick said, his website is www.pkspoon.co.uk.